Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. You lot know exactly what to do. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. As you can see, different settings. Jetted off for a few days, people see in the background, sun, lovely breeze. But we are still bringing you all the latest Chelsea news. And in today's video, people, we got the latest on the future of Wesley Fofana, Gregor Kobel's future as well as potential updates on a new temporary home if Chelsea decide to rebuild Stamford Bridge. So there's loads to dive into, but let's start with the Wesley Fofana news. There's an exclusive coming out of France saying that Chelsea are open to the possibility of selling or loaning Fofana this summer due to persistent injury issues. Now, we know that Fofana, arguably for me, is our best centre-back when fit. The problem is, when we signed him in, 2022, 70 million quid, 75 million pounds, whatever it was, he started less than 30 league games in 3 seasons. The injury record has been diabolical. ACL, hamstring injuries, muscular injuries. It has been a problem, but he's Chelsea's best defender. Now, we know there's going to be a lot of movement at centre-back this summer, but this is exclusive from France saying that Chelsea would be open to letting him go, that Marseille are interested, and that Fofana would be open to going to Marseille. Now, we know that Fofana's boyhood club was Marseille. We know last summer there was an approach. Mehdi Benatia, the sporting director at Marseille, phoned him up and pitched the move to him, and Fofana openly admitted that, but he said he wanted to stay at Chelsea and his focus was on Chelsea. Now, that's fine, he's been open and honest about it, but if an offer did come in from Marseille and Chelsea are concerned about his injury issues, maybe there's a deal to be done there. I don't think there's an awful lot of sense in loaning Fofana. I don't think that makes any sense at all. But then if in terms of talking of a sale, there's no way Marseille are going to be able to offer anywhere near what Chelsea would want for Fofana. So I don't really know how this one would go, and it'd be a bit strange for Chelsea to sell Fofana due to persistent injury issues, but they've kept faith with Reece James, they're keeping faith with Romeo Lavia, and Wesley Fofana is arguably a very, very important part of this Chelsea squad. So I'm not really too sure what's going on here, what's going on with these reports, because I would be giving Fofana one more season personally. If he has another season next season where he can't stay fit, he's constantly in and out of the side, then I think there's a conversation to be had, and you just have to accept that the move's not worked out and you're going to have to take a bit of a loss on the player. But I'd be surprised if Chelsea were to cut their losses and get rid of Fofana next season for injury issues, and they've stuck by Lavia and James, who have had similar injury problems themselves. The one thing we can't do though is build around Fofana like we tried to this season, because the guy just cannot keep fit and you cannot rely on him. He's got to be looked at as a luxury player, as a little bit of a bonus. So we go and sign a Dean Huijsen this summer, we go and bring in a Mark Gurhey, and we use Fofana as and when he's available, but we don't rely on him and we don't build the first team around him. But this could be one to keep an eye on, guys. It could be one to keep an eye on. The Fofana and Marseille links don't go away. We know that he'd be open to the move. It just depends on the circumstances, depends on how Chelsea are feeling, depends on how desperate Fofana is to leave. But yeah, could be one to keep an eye on, people. I think it definitely is. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but stranger things have happened in football, and it's a possibility. He's spoken about it before. So yeah, let's wait and see. I mean, I think we're making a big mistake if we did let him go. The loan, as I said, makes no sense, and if you sold him this summer, you're going to be taking a big loss. I mean, you might get 50 million tops for him, but there's no way Marseille are spending 50 million pounds on Wesley Fofana. So let's wait and see how this one unfolds. Let's wait and see if we get any more reports from anywhere else, from the likes of your Ornsteins or Fabrizios and whatnot. But yeah, interesting developments there, potentially in the future of Wesley Fofana. Now, moving away from defence and into the goalkeeping position, there's been a lot of reports recently linking Chelsea with Gregor Kobel. There's something fresh from Sky Germany, I think on Monday evening, that Chelsea would be interested, Kobel would be interested in a move to the Premier League. Dortmund would do business at around £51 million, and I think, Jesus, £51 million on a goalkeeper who, he's better than what we've got, but is he one of the top goalkeepers in world football? Probably not. Yes, okay, fine, it's a bit of an upgrade, but if you're going to be spending over 50 million on a goalkeeper, I'm wanting a significant upgrade and one of the world's best, and Kobel is not a significant upgrade, and in my opinion, not one of the world's best. But I mean, Sky Germany are very well sourced on this sort of thing, and they've been saying that, but then Ben Jacobs has come out and saying that any links with Chelsea and Kobel are very much wide of the mark. So make of that what you will, and Chelsea are planning on choosing a number one from our 4 existing goalkeepers in Petrovic, Sanchez, Penders and Jorgensen. So let's wait and see. But realistically, the only goalkeeper that we've been linked with strongly is Gregor Kobel, and I like him. I think he's decent, but he's not a significant enough upgrade for me to think it's worth spending 50 million quid on. Is he 50 million pounds better than giving Georgia Petrovic the number 1 shirt next season? No, I don't for one moment think that he is. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that maybe that's not going to happen. Price is expensive and he's not a significant upgrade. And I think you can go with Petrovic definitely for next season and explore the goalkeeping market maybe next summer, perhaps when it becomes a little bit better. You're looking at Man City going after Diogo Costa to replace Ederson, who could be coming to Al Ittihad in Saudi. So yeah, lots of options on the table potentially, but I think the smartest option for Chelsea would be to use Petrovic next season and reassess next summer. Obviously, we know this ownership isn't afraid of making a profit, loves to make a profit, so Chelsea would more than double their money on Petrovic. Signed him for 14 million quid. He'd almost definitely go for at least 30 million given the season that he's had at Strasbourg. But for once, I think we need to prioritise what's happening on the pitch over the balance sheet. So he should be the keeper next season. You get rid of Sanchez and then you use Jorgensen as your number 2 and you send Penders to Strasbourg, providing we're not both in the same European competition. But yeah, links to Gregor Kobel seemingly wide of the mark according to Ben Jacobs, although Sky Germany are slightly saying otherwise. But let's wait and see how that one develops, people. And obviously, to round this video out, guys, I've had a little bit of an update on the stadium as such, with the RFU chief, so that's the Rugby Football Union chief, saying that he'd be open to Chelsea playing their games at Twickenham if Stamford Bridge gets the go-ahead for a redevelopment plan. He'd be open to it. Obviously, financially, it would benefit them massively, but he feels that Chelsea could have issues with the local council on that one. So obviously it's not down to the RFU, it's very much down to the local council. Twickenham's an 82,000 seater stadium. It's the home of English rugby. Football's never been played there. I think they've done concerts there in the past, and Twickenham's not a million miles away from Stamford Bridge. It's pretty easy to get to. And obviously there'd be a lot more tickets seemingly available on a match day, given it's over twice the size of Stamford Bridge. So you'd think you'd be getting a lot more people in there, a lot more tickets available, a lot more people able to go to the games. And yeah, I think that would be very interesting. Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, was welcome to Chelsea to have conversations with him about a new stadium, about what they're potentially thinking. He's saying that the current stadium is too small for a club of our stature, 2 Champions Leagues, and he's not wrong. It absolutely is too small. And while 62,500 I think is the maximum you could get at Stamford Bridge, that would be an improvement. I think a club like Chelsea, you need to be looking at somewhere where you can maybe get 70,000, then you can build and expand on that site as and when in the future. But I would much rather play at Twickenham than going to a soulless Wembley. Now, of course, you could say that Twickenham could be a little bit soulless for us as well, given we do struggle to generate an atmosphere. But it's certainly interesting that could potentially be an opportunity. Obviously, the RFU open to it, but ultimately the biggest decision and the final decision is going to lie with the local council, and they might not be happy about that. But it would be big benefits of Twickenham. It would be massive benefits for the local area. It would be bringing a lot more people there than probably currently go, and it would be pumping money into the local economy. And the local pubs and cafes, bars, shops, etc. would be seeing a lot more footfall than perhaps they normally do. And I think it would be a potentially very good option for Chelsea to go and play at Twickenham. But again, with this stadium stuff, guys, we're still a long way away from having any sort of resolution, any sort of concrete answers, concrete updates. So yeah, I mean, look, I think reports have said we're unlikely to get any new stadium until like at earliest 2030, but we're looking at 2031, 2032 for a finished article. So yeah, hopefully we get some more concrete plans by the end of 2024. But yeah, currently it's looking very quiet on the stadium front. There was a lot of talk about Earls Court. That's gone a little bit quiet recently. Are they cracking on with the development? Are Chelsea working behind the scenes, going to put an offer in for the land? We're not too sure right now. But yeah, this would be my second preference. If we are going to rebuild Stamford Bridge, playing at Twickenham would be much better than playing at Wembley. But ultimately, the number one preference is get that Earls Court site, continue to play at the Bridge, and then move to Earls Court when it's done. But obviously, in due course, guys, we'll get more information on that we could be met in a good few months, I would feel. But yeah, guys, that's just the latest news, my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to smash the like, subscribe, as I said, and I'll catch you again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.